Hi guys, this is the newest bag from Pound, the Carleton. This is a limited edition version. It retails at $325. I just ordered this on a whim, to be honest. I was really curious. I thought the design was very unique and didn't have a whole lot of information out there on the internet about it, so I opted to just buy one and make a review, and here we are. I've got a couple other bags to compare it to today, most notably the Pound Octothorpe and the Grip CS. Those two bags I feel like are of the utmost quality. Any grip bag is extremely high quality, and after seeing this, the second bag from Pound, I can say that Pound, as well, is of absolutely the highest quality, perhaps even higher than Grip. But comparing bags at the highest quality and from the smallest to the largest size, and then we've got the Carleton here sitting in the middle. This bag retails at $325, so it certainly is at the higher end of the spectrum as far as cost. The capacity on this bag, as I have it loaded right now, is 16 discs. And I think that's how a lot of people will use it. That's why I've loaded it that way to start with. I have a 32-ounce water bottle here and a towel stuffed in that side pocket. As I've been carrying the bag around, a lot of times my towel is sitting here, actually stuffed in the center. And I haven't been carrying a water bottle that big, but if you are, then it kind of makes sense to put a towel next to it. That helps stabilize it. You can get an insert over there. The Octothorpe came with an insert. The side pocket is exactly the same, so I believe you can order these individually. If you wanted something in there to stabilize, that's Velcro, so you can slide the center divider back and forth if you want, one side to be a little bigger than the other. That perhaps is one of the weirdest quirks about this bag, is that it doesn't just have a standard size cup holder like the grip bags have. And that's the same for the Octothorpe. It doesn't have a dedicated drink holder either. I guess you could say that what I just showed you is dedicated, but it's a little bit of an odd size to be sliding a 12-ounce can in. The main disc storage in this bag is a little bit hard to see, and that was kind of a unsolved mystery, sort of, looking at the videos that Levi had out there, and there's a couple other videos online. It's just a little bit hard to see in there, and that remains one of the biggest things I can criticize about this bag, is that it's just hard to see in there. I've got an extra light set up today so that I can try to show you well, but it's still not the easiest thing to see in, even with the super bright light there. As I've had this out playing rounds in the middle of the day, even high sun and whatnot, it's hard for me to see in. If I've got like a pink disc, a white disc, and a red disc in a specific order, I pull one out, and it's hard enough for me to see that I really got to work to make sure I get my disc back in the right spot, especially if it's one of the discs that's sitting on the furthest outside or the furthest inside. Those are the ones that are the hardest to see. It's difficult enough that I'm a little bit worried I'm going to leave discs on the fairway. If I'm throwing 3-4 shots, something like that, I can't tell at a quick glance if I've picked all my discs back up. That is one of the big advantages to these standard front-loading bags, is it's so much easier to just at a glance see your discs in there in the right order. So that's something that I think you need to be aware of, and it's something you can work around, but it is a little bit of a hassle. So as I've got it set up here, I've got my drivers on this side, and I have 6 of them. 6 of them on this side. that's a comfortable amount. I can easily stick my fingers in there in between discs and separate them. There's plenty of room. If I wanted to squeeze extra discs in there, I certainly could. But I think it's a pretty standard amount. Then on this side, I've got the double putter pouch. As you can see, they make it so that you can get the dual putter pocket on both sides. I ordered the one where it is the dual putter pocket on one side, and then on the other side is a three disc sleeves. I think if I was gonna do it again, I might get the dual putter slot on both sides, and I'll tell you why once we start looking at the other side of the bag there. The dual putter pocket has room for a marker or 2 or 3 if you wanted to put them in there, the slot for your mini marker, and then pencils. That pencil slot is sewn all the way around, which is kind of interesting. You could pack a bunch of pencils in there if you wanted, but once you get over to this side, you're starting to put extra pressure on the edges of your putter. I know in the videos that Levi put on his Facebook page about, you know, kind of the design of this bag, and as he was working through and changing things a little bit, he kept moving this putter pocket around. And I remember in one of the last ones he was talking about how he added thicker webbing right there. Extra material on the edge, and I think his reason was to kind of stop this from wanting to fold over, and so that it likes to stay open and it'll accept those putters well. It is a little bit tight, especially if you've got your mini marker in there, you know, some pencils and whatnot. The putters I'm sliding in right now, these are KC Pro Glow AVRs, so it's a very hard, slick putter, and you can see those are going in pretty well for me. But if I switch that to, like, here's a couple JK Pro AVRs, so they're a little bit stickier plastic. They're not as easy to slide in and out. You can see how that's starting to bind. So it's easier if you're always, you know, sliding one putter behind the other, but I think that could have been maybe sewn a little bit larger without causing a problem. Maybe it'll stretch over time. There is so much fabric up there that I'm not sure. I'm not sure whether this will stretch out with that extra webbing in there. So I don't know. That's maybe good or bad. It is really snug. It may be just a touch too snug if you're using a larger profile putter like the KC Pro, the Big Beat AVR. It might be a little tighter than you'd like. Coming to the other side of the bag, that is the side where we've got the 3-disc sleeve. Down in the main compartment there, I have 5 mid-ranges, 4 white one and then a blue on the inside. And again, I could fit more. You can see I can separate those with my fingers. I could fit an extra disc in there if I wanted, but I think that's just about the right, you know, the right amount, easy access. For the 3-disc sleeve, I have a mid up on the top, and then in the second sleeve down, I've got 2 fairways, and I don't have a disc in that third sleeve down here. I think that, well, okay, for each slot, a mid fits comfortably, or 2 fairways or 2 drivers is starting to get tight, but it for sure is doable. So you could fit 4 fairways up there, or 2 mids. If you want to use that lower slot, you're gonna be coming into contact with the main disc compartment there. You know, the discs in the main compartment will, for the most part, stand up vertically, but as soon as we're sliding in a disc like this, then it wants to kick these all over. So if you're using that lower third sleeve, especially with the mid-range, then all the discs in the main compartment are going to want to sit on an angle. which is just a little bit weird. It kind of irks me. So I've been using this second slot for 2 discs and not use the third slot. Even with that second slot, especially if you have more discs down here, then as you put this disc in, it hits. It hits the top of the other discs. So you're fighting with that a little bit, especially if you overloaded that main compartment down there. So this is, I don't remember if I said, this is 12 total. 6 drivers, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, plus the 5 down here, so 16. That is the maximum capacity for the Grip CS bag, is 16. That fits just perfectly in the Grip. That's 3 putters on top, and then 5 mids, 3, 6, 7, 8 drivers in the Grip. So loaded like this, the bags, these two are very similar, even weight wise. You know, the Carleton empty weighed at 1.73 kilograms compared to the CS empty is 1.6. And then loaded with a normal load, 16 discs in here, plus all my normal towel, keys, cell phone. I use 68 ounces of water. That's 3 cans, 3 12-ounce cans, plus a 32-ounce bottle here. Loaded like that, like it is as you see it right now, that's basically 7.5 kilograms. And the CS with the same weight load is 7.4, or pretty close to that. So these bags are really comparable if you're running the Carleton in a light load orientation. The main difference then between the two is how comfortable they are to carry. A couple things about the Carleton make it a superior bag comfort-wise. Maybe the most obvious you can see is the super high carry handle and the firm kind of high-rising backpack straps. This may seem like a silly thing to really comment on, the large carry handle, but it's so nice. Picking this bag up and setting it down many times over the course of a round, it's so nice to have that thing poking up and I can easily grab it, even with, you know, a giant glove on my hand. The carry strap on the grip bags is sewn in with the backpack straps, which are sitting down. So there's not quite as much room to grab that thing, especially if you happen to have a big glove on or something like that. The backpack straps on the grip don't have nearly as much padding. The diameter of the padding, let's see, how did I measure that? Yeah, with calipers, height-wise, just as I'm pinching it with my fingers, on the grip is, I gotta look at the right plot. 16 millimeters on this side. That's the right strap. The left strap, which I kind of grabbed to pick up the bag by because the haul loop isn't quite as accessible. I pick it up like this a lot. This side's scrunched down to 12 millimeters. So after a season or so of use, this one's squished down to 12. On the side that doesn't get picked up as much, it's up at 16. The Carleton straps are 19 millimeters. There's a ton of padding up there. They're so comfortable. One of the other things that differentiates the straps on the Carleton versus the grip is that the Carleton doesn't have a whole bunch of sewing across here, which I think for the most part is good, but it's also causing a little bit of weird thing as well. This is kind of sagged over a few times. I've noticed as I'm picking the bag up, that can get off center a little bit and almost start rolling over the edge. That is putting a weird stress on the one sew point that is up there, And if it's off to the side, then this fabric starts to stretch. You know, the webbing here is not a stretchy webbing, and so that kind of supposed to be the frame, right? I think that's why on the grip they just have all of these sew points. That really makes sure that the non-stretch webbing is keeping the rest of the fabric from getting pulled apart. The problem with all these extra stitch marks is it creates little hinge points like that, which starts to deteriorate the foam, the padding inside. So the Carleton is definitely more comfortable, and I think that the foam will last a lot longer because it doesn't have all these hinge points from sewing across there. These straps are also snapped in place. There's double snaps on each of the straps. That's the same on the Octothorpe. On the Octothorpe, those pull right apart. I've popped them on and off. On the Carleton, I've pulled on these a few times, and I've pulled on them uncomfortably hard, and they won't unsnap. So I'm not sure what happened on these. I'm gonna have to get like a little screwdriver and try to pry them apart. Granted, that's not something that you'd want to take on and off for any reason other than maybe you're bringing this thing into an airplane and want to slide it under seats or something like that. You could take the straps off, or if you're just buying new straps to replace them, and that's really going to help add to the longevity of this bag, because I'm sure still that over time this foam will start to crush and deteriorate. I'm hoping it doesn't do it as fast as the grip bags, but if you keep the bag long enough, you're going to start to lose padding up there. And to upgrade those straps a few years, 4 or 5 years hopefully down the line, would really help revive your bag and make it comfortable again. So even though at a 16 disc capacity it's about the same weight, the Carleton is a little bit heavier than the grip at a 16 disc capacity, but the comfort more than makes up for that little bit extra weight you've got. One thing that really sets this bag apart from the Grip CS is its ability to expand. You're really stuck at a hard 16, maybe 17. I don't know if you can squeeze more than that into the Grip CS, but things are going to start getting really tight if you do. And that is not a problem with this bag. If over time you start carrying more discs, or maybe you've gone on a shopping spree and you just got 6 or 7 new discs in, that you don't want to pull stuff out of your bag to take these 6 or 7 extra discs to start testing, but you'd like to just put them in the bag that you can throw as second and third shots and kind of try them out, right? See if they're going to earn a spot in your bag. That's really hard to do with the Grip CS, but it's totally manageable with the Carleton here. These side pockets on the Carleton are the same as the Octothorpe, so we can fit extra discs easily 4 mids over there if you wanted to. And then we could go with a couple more fairways up there. On the other side, if we really wanted to make extra space, perhaps we can do without our large water bottle and store beverages elsewhere. I've got 3 cans of water here all the way down at the bottom, and I'll show that storage in there just a little bit later. There's another 5 discs over there. We'll slide another driver in over here. And we've still got room for more if we really want to squeeze things a little bit tighter. There's an extra mid in there. The towel can live a couple different places. I already pointed up there. You could keep it down in with either of the main compartments and take it in and out as you're moving discs in and out. It could also take up one of your sleeves here without a problem. If you're gonna give up that side, I mean, you're carrying a lot of discs if you do that, if you give that side up for beverages. And then you've got a couple other options. One is that this does have a sleeve for a water bladder. So if you want to go, you know, camelback style or whatever, you don't need a drink holder out here. You're going to have that tube, that straw coming out, and there's a spot for 2 different sizes of water bladders in here. Also, you can utilize this top. It may look a little bit funny, but that actually carries a beverage, or holds a beverage pretty well. If you're setting your bag on the ground and don't want to set, you know, a can on the ground, it can live right there. There's on the inside here, these 2 side pockets kind of act as a seat for that can, and they'll grab it, and so that it sticks right there. So there's another option. This bag, getting full like I have it right now with all these discs, is definitely pushing the limits, and is probably not the main design for how to carry the bag. But I wanted to load it up like this to show you that it's possible. If you're testing out a bunch of discs, then you can do this. Let's count how many I've put in here. There's 4 mids, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 mid-ranges, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. That's 28 discs. That is pushing the capacity of the Octothorpe. Like the Octothorpe, and it's at least how I normally carry it, is 26 discs, and then I can expand it another 5 or 10 potentially, taking up the side storage and whatnot. But I don't know. That shows that this bag really can bridge the gap. If you are looking to upgrade from, you know, a very small bag, you're carrying 6 or 8 discs or something like that, the Carleton is not a stretch. You know, it can comfortably hold 12. You can go down to that without an issue, or lower, and it doesn't really affect how the bag carries. And then over time, as you grow, your game grows, you're throwing, you know, more discs, you want to bag more discs, then the bag can grow with you. It really is a nice design in that way. Beyond carrying all these extra discs, the storage can easily be used to carry extra layers, for example. Like here's a full-size rain jacket. I'll just roll this up sloppy here. Show you that I can easily fit a rain jacket in that side pocket if I want. There's also room down the main center slot for that storage. I'm about to take the bag apart and show you the internal storage and the overall design. But before I do, let me show you the side pieces here. I don't think this needed to be on the bag. Let me just take one of those out and make it easier. But you can zip those shut. If you're, you know, caught in a little bit of a drizzle or something, you can unroll them and zip them shut like that. The reason I say I don't know if it needed to be there is because for the 99% of the time, they're going to stay rolled up and Velcroed over here, and it just sits a little bit funny. Like aesthetically, I think the bag would look better if that fabric just wasn't even there. And maybe you've got the rainfly for the bag that you can just store and put on instead. And I do believe that they intend to put a rainfly out for it. They've got a snap up here on the back center, and that is one of the fastening points for the rainfly on the Octothorpe. So once that comes out, if it comes out, I think it is intended, then that would be a better alternative than these zipper things over here. So I don't know. I think that's an interesting design choice on their part, and I don't completely agree with it being there. I think those are a little funny. They don't really get in your way, but it does look a little bit odd. One of the things that separates this bag from the Octothorpe is the way that it feels on your back. I think the Octothorpe is the most comfortable bag I've ever put on, and the reason is that the back of the Octothorpe is quite flexible. You can grab the Octothorpe right here and twist it, that bag back and forth. It's not a stiff backing. Well, I don't know how to say that. There is a sheet of plastic in there on both of these bags, and on this bag it's cut similar as the padded fabric here. It's a little wider at top and then becomes more narrow at the bottom. I think that they have the same thickness of plastic in the back of this bag and the back of the Octothorpe, but the rigid center divider in this bag acts as kind of a spine. So we've got the back panel on this angle, and then that spine coming in to support it, and those two pieces together prevent it from being as soft. I mean, it was a necessity for the other design parts of this bag that it has that, you know, vertical rigid divider, but it prevents the back from being quite as flexible. So even though I can say that this bag is more comfortable than the grip, I cannot say it's more comfortable than the Octothorpe. It is lighter than the Octothorpe, so that helps reduce fatigue and whatnot, but in a super heavy loadout, like with all those discs put in there that I just showed you, for that same number of discs, the Octothorpe is going to be a little bit more comfortable. So let's go ahead and get into it. I'm going to take this bag apart. This is the best way I know how to show how all this storage really works together. Okay, so this center divider is Velcroed in place, and you probably never need to take it out. If you were, you know, maybe after a couple seasons you really want to give your bag a deep cleaning, it'd be easier to clean if you take this out. Okay, we got it. So with that out of there, you can see the large Velcro strip on the back of the bag that goes all the way down to the bottom, and then looking inside there, you can see there's a large Velcro strip across the bottom of the bag, and then there's also, this is the harder one to see, right there, there's a Velcro strip across the front. So front, bottom, and back, there's Velcro. With that all out, you can see that it is a soft back bag. That's about the amount of twist and whatnot that I can give the Octothorpe. But as soon as you put that rigid divider in this one, then we lose that. So setting the bag aside, we're left with the insert here, and it has all the Velcro to match across the front, the bottom, Velcro all the way up the back, and then yeah, at those zippers there's Velcro. There's Velcro as well. So you can see the 3-disc slot. And you can see how I had 3 cans sitting all the way down at the bottom there. The can width is just perfect. There's plenty of extra room for that. One of the first things I did when I got this bag is I was trying to figure out how many discs I could fit on each side in the main compartment, and deciding which side to put fairways and drivers in, which side to put my mid-ranges in. And I realized that if I reached in the bag and separated the Velcro from the bottom, I could then kind of squish this main pouch and then stick it back down, giving me more room on both sides. Or I could pull the whole thing free and move it over a little bit and put it back down if I wanted more room on one side than the other. So you really do have a lot of flexibility in how you end up wanting to lay this bag out. If you want the same amount of room on both sides, with the center divider as wide as possible so that it's easier to fit jackets and stuff down in there, or if you want to move it one way or the other, you've got that control. Looking on the inside of this pouch, on the right side here is kind of your main valuable storage. You can see the stitching across the bottom here. I've got a scorecard in there. There's cell phone, and then my wallet and keys. There's plenty of room on that side. I've got, I don't know, a little bit bigger of a phone, and it still sits in there just perfectly. On the back of this pouch, we've got our umbrella holder. I've not put an umbrella in this bag yet, but I'm kind of excited to. The fact that that umbrella sits dead center in the bag is unique. Every other bag I've tried, the umbrella's way off to one side or the other, and that's not ideal. I think umbrella right in the center of the bag is a cool idea. On the left side is our hydration sleeve. This pocket goes all the way down to the bottom of the bag, so you can put a really long hydration sleeve in there. It also is convertible. If you look, it's pretty hard to show this, but right here is a line of stitching, right at this height, and stitched in there is a piece of Velcro that runs all the way across the side. So you can reach down in that sleeve, pull the Velcro free, and then stick it back together. And that way, the bottom of that pouch, instead of going to the bottom of the bag, stops right here. That's either for a shorter water bladder, or since I don't carry water bladders, that turns this into another storage sleeve. With my cell phone slid in there, there's the top of my phone right there. So it's a pretty deep sleeve. You could fit a lot of stuff. You might have to stick your arm in there and fiddle around for a little bit to find whatever you've put in there. One of the other criticisms I have for this bag, I'll show you as I get it back together here, is the kind of how cumbersome it is to reach into that main storage compartment. I, for one, don't like to put cell phone, keys, wallet, stuff like that in a pocket that's going to be touching the ground. So that pretty much prevents me from wanting to use one of these side pockets for items like that. If it gets kicked while somebody's walking past your bag, or as you're just setting your bag down, you put it on a rock or something like that, you might damage some of your items. So I definitely like my stuff to be stored higher, which means that this is really my only option in this center divider. And as the bag is loaded up, it keeps these pressed together pretty tightly. So you're left just reaching your hand in, and you're gonna get scraped on both sides, or you're kind of pulling it apart like that, and reaching in one. And it reminds me a little bit of the Latitude E3 bag, if you know what I'm talking about. That's got these high kind of triangular pockets on both corners with a vertical zipper. And even unzipped, there's just not really enough room to stick your hand in there. And so you're just kind of constantly getting scraped. And that's not the perfect storage, in my opinion. I think that the grip does storage better. The high valuables pocket here, well, I guess as I'm saying that, I realize that this is scraping on your hand as well, unless you really pull your putters out of there. But I don't have to fish quite as deep for stuff in this bag. For example, my cell phone sits right there, kind of accessible. I can go just a couple knuckles deep and grab my car keys or wallet or whatever else I've got in there. I'm not having to jam my hand in and really go on a fishing expedition like I kind of have to on the Carleton. So what else have I not mentioned yet on this bag? They've got the little strap up front here if you want to put a speaker in there or a stool across it. You can definitely do so. One thing I've started using my Octothorpe for is to sit on occasion. This may be like a little bit of a weird thing to mention, but if you take the bag and roll it back slightly on like a 45-degree angle, you can kind of sit right on the discs here just for like a little bit of rest in the middle of a long round or whatever. When I don't want to actually carry a stool, that is something I've been using more and more, and it doesn't really work with this bag. I don't know that a lot of people do that, sit on their bag like that, but it's a small thing. If you do, then you're not going to be able to with the Carleton. So, in conclusion, I think that the quality of the fabric and stitching in this bag is unparalleled by any other manufacturer. The design is quite unique. The price point may keep a number of people away, but it certainly could be the last bag you ever buy, especially with the addition of the replaceable straps. I think that this bag is in a unique spot for its ability to hold a smaller number of discs really well, and then also expand way out and carry more discs than most people do without really affecting the comfort of the bag or how it handles. So for a lot of people, it is a good, potentially at least a really good investment. I'll continue to keep recommending the grip bags as well. For the lower price, it's just really hard to beat. However, potentially you'd end up buying 2 grip bags to fill the same role that this does. You may end up with the grip CS and a grip that's an AX15, but AX3 as they call it now. This bag covers both of those, and that's almost how you have to look at it, because it's nearly twice as expensive. But you've got the added bonus of supporting people that are working in the US. That's a really nice thing as well. So I hope that I've answered all your questions. Feel free to post in the comments if there's something I've not covered, or if you have recommendations for another bag that you'd like to see me review. I'd be happy to look into it. Thanks for watching.